To kick things off here, we're going to talk a little bit about the alleged thing called space.
Space. Wanna go to space?
This is Vice.com, and their headline, NASA successfully punched an asteroid off course in planetary defense test, agency announces. And, it's one thing to sort of read about it or see, but it's a whole other thing when you're listening to or watching Bill Nelson, NASA administrator, really just make the declaration here.
2 weeks ago, NASA made history once again. We conducted humanity's first planetary defense test. And now the team has confirmed that the spacecraft's impact altered Dimorphos orbit around Didymos by 32 minutes.
Oh, so close.
And therefore successfully moved its trajectory.
Someone's getting fired. They're trying to hit that 33 signaling, but man, only made it to 32 minutes. So again, pretty interesting claims here about planetary defense. This goes back to the Star Wars thing in the 80s with Reagan and even before that. But, the fascinating thing is the theories that spark from, these types of stories about planetary defense and, debris and who knows what else, right? I mean, why would you need a defense mechanism from out there, I guess? And a lot of the end times folks that I've rubbed shoulders with and talked to and the sentiment that I've heard over the years is that perhaps the earth itself is preparing for the coming of Jesus Christ, and it will be framed as sort of an alien invasion, like, oh, the bad guy's here. We need to wipe out the bad guy. And so, it's just kind of simplified way to explain that whole situation. But it's something that's interesting when we talk about what is actually taking place with NASA making these bold sort of claims about what they're doing, basically playing out the movie Armageddon from the 90s and making things happen, knocking off trajectory of an asteroid. And also, just making it sound like it's no big deal. This is Nancy Chabot, I think it's Chabot, talking about how, just a nudge.
It just gave it a small nudge. But if you wanted to do this in the future, it could potentially work, but you'd want to do it years in advance. Warning time is really key here in order to enable this sort of asteroid deflection to potentially be used in the future as part of a much larger planetary defense strategy.
Okay, so yeah, there you go. We need more time. We'll have to know ahead of time, what's hurling towards Earth. And of course, there is a large asteroid that is supposed to, or was it a comet? I think it's an asteroid that's supposed to get pretty near Earth in the latter part of this decade. So I'm sure that's part of the control mechanism as well when it comes to, saying that they're doing this kind of thing. Funding is one thing, but also, perhaps preparing for some turmoil in that regard, and a perfect time to really shake up the world and restructure everything to the likes of some totalitarian master eye at the top. But so there you go. There's not much to this other than, the actual clips themselves, the article itself. We've talked about this already, so it's not really that interesting to go back into. But that 32 is funny. They tried to get to 33, but they just couldn't do it. And yeah, there's not much else for me to say about it at this moment, but that's okay. We're just trying to keep track of some of this stuff. I'm not going to do a whole huge breakdown on, all of it and what it means. But over the years, until about 2015, when, a lot of people in the truth seeking community started talking about flat Earth, and sort of questioning the cosmology, where we are in the cosmos and what the whole Earth looks like and all that kind of stuff. It's just interesting to me that they wait until that is out there, in sort of the alternative thinking, before they start making moves publicly like this, as well as, creating the Space Force and all that kind of stuff.